Day. So let's kick things off. I'd like to introduce one of our first guests today. Vangy Auclair is with the San Miguel School of Providence. Hey Vangy, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good, it's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the San Miguel School in Providence, just a little bit about your mission, because you are different from some other schools around here.
Sure. So San Miguel's mission is to serve students that come from a disadvantaged background, and particularly students that are vulnerable to not completing high school. In large part, our mission is serving high-risk, at-risk boys who otherwise wouldn't have access to high-quality holistic education. And our goal is very aligned with providing education to students that may have been the victims of bullying, may have some disadvantage and some socioeconomic challenges that wouldn't otherwise allow them the opportunity to receive the education at San Miguel School.
And what it seems like is you do a lot for these boys. I mean, they've been through some troubling times. What challenges might they
are behind the eight ball in terms of academics. We're looking at students who typically enter in the 5th grade, and they may, in most cases, be perhaps 2 grades behind in terms of their academic achievement. So we have a pretty rigorous process in terms of admissions, and when we do our testing, we do our evaluations, we know that this is very much the community that we want to serve, is really closing that achievement gap. And we're really proud to know that our kids are rock stars. They're doing great. You know, most of our students, and it's a small school, it's 64 boys, and it's grades 5 through 8. And we know that at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're providing that holistic education and keeping our hand on the back of their educational journey, not only through San Miguel, but also into high school and into college. So I think that makes us a little bit of an outlier in terms of seeing their educational journey to make sure they have a successful future, so we can provide them that outlet void of poverty. And that's our goal, and we keep our fingers crossed every day.
And do you think that's been pretty successful? I was looking at and you are, well, actually, let's get back to this. You are an accredited school as well, and that is important. And when we're looking at school options and school choices, we're seeing so much more of that. So through the accreditation process, that's important. But do you feel like you've been successful? It seems like your success rates are pretty high.
Yes, they are pretty high. All of our students graduate and go on to high school. And what we're proud of is that we are very much head and shoulders above the state rates in terms of high school graduation. 90% of our students ultimately graduate from high school. And we have a wonderful graduate support program that actually follows that student through his journey through high school. And in large part, our graduate support program is the success, and it's that magic sauce that creates the journey for kids graduating, because we have an academic resource center at San Miguel. So Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening, students that are at St. Ray's, at La Salle, in other schools, they can come to San Miguel after school, and we have tutoring. We have Providence College students. We have a variety of students that help with whether it be English, science, mathematics, so we can keep our hand on the back of their success so they can complete successfully from high school. And in terms of some success stories, right here in our Attorney General office, we have a prosecutor, Jamal Burke. We're so proud of Jamal. Jamal, he's a real model of a Miguel man, and we talk about our boys as being Miguel men and being really good stewards to being champions and ambassadors of San Miguel. We have a grad that is a PhD. We have many other successful stories. We have a pro athlete, professional pro athlete. So I think what we know is that we're a family, Molly. We're a family, and twice a week we actually have what's called open gym, and this is an opportunity to keep kids safe. And they will come to San Miguel School and they'll play basketball. Our gym is open for 2 hours, and we know our families are vulnerable. They're in communities that are gang ridden, there's violence, and some of these kids do present to us with some trauma backgrounds, and that is even yet a more complex situation of us knowing we have a very intimate relationship with this child to make sure that he has all of the support in place in terms of the teachers and all of those wraparound services so we can create that journey of success.
Do you think that's important? Another part of your service is reaching out and providing other services besides just the education?
It is, because it's part of that holistic education that we talk about. It's not only the STEAM or other education that we offer, from robotics to cooking classes to chess club to all of our pretty robust athletic program, but it's everything else outside of it, because some of these students may not have parents that speak English and are fluent in English. They may not be able to read. So most of our families are Latino. We have a lion's share of our families are Latino or African American or of Asian descent, more Latino and African American. So having the infrastructure in place by having the after-school studies. We have Brown medical students from the Apparel Medical School that provide tutoring. We have PC students providing tutoring. That is paramount to their success, because at home, it's the dichotomy. They may not have the resources, and it's no judgment to families. It's just we want to bring up and we want to lift these boys so they can succeed, in knowing that those after-school programs is what makes them well-rounded. It closes that achievement gap, because that is really important for us. And we know, again, with our graduate support director and everyone that's involved, these kids, first day of school at LaSalle or St. Regis, they're showing up at San Miguel School because they feel like it's a family. And I know it may sound a little silly or corny, but they feel a lot of love from us. And they feel like we are a second family. And what we have too, Molly, which is really nice, is we have an adult mentor program. And that's really just yet another relationship that student has.
Let's talk a little bit about, you have a peer mentorship program, which I find actually even, I mean, obviously the adult mentorship program is really beneficial because you can have so much influence on a child, but I think the peer mentorship program can actually be super beneficial. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the peer mentor program is, once our 5th graders join San Miguel School, they get paired with an 8th grader. Now this 8th grader is his coach, his mentor, his confidant, and that 8th grader is responsible to being a Miguel man, a leader that shows that 5th grader what is the culture like, what's the appropriate way to behave, and show him the ropes. And what's great is they actually have lunch together, they have recess together, they do activities on a weekly basis together, and they have field trips together. And those relationships are really important, because it's someone that they can turn to, particularly the 5th graders, and say, oh boy, I didn't get my assignment done. What do I do? How did you handle it when you did this? Or when you got into trouble, what did you do? So it's a nice way to show the kids that you've got someone that's got your back.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a good opportunity if you don't know somebody, or just reaching out. If you're sitting alone at lunch. I saw this amazing story, just what it means to just not sit alone at lunch.
Right.
You know, maybe not so much, well, the kids have different lunch periods between the 5th and 8th grade, but just to see someone in the hallway or at recess, to just not be alone, to know even just one person how much it can really make a difference.
Right, absolutely.
Especially in those years where you're a tween or a teen, how much that can really make a difference.
Right. And I think that what we really do emphasize is that brotherhood. That's very much in line with our mission of really having that brotherhood. And you will see that demonstrated amongst the boys. The 101 of becoming a Miguel student is, they would shake your hand as you walked into the building, and they would look at you in the eye, and they would say, thank you for coming. My name is such and such. People, donors, anyone that visits the Miguel School, they would say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This is a 10, 11-year-old student in the 5th grade up until like 13, 14, and they're shaking your hand in a way that's appropriate, that is a firm handshake, and they're looking at you in the eye. And those character aspects of development, we believe that is just as important as the academic piece of it, is creating good men that have good hearts, that have good values, that when they're out in the community, when they have their next job, or when they go on to their next school, that they're demonstrating good core values. That really is what we stand for. And so we're pretty proud to witness that on a regular basis.
Oh, it must be, especially working with the age that they are vulnerable and susceptible and can be molded one way or the other. Let's talk a little bit about tuition and how people pay to go to school. And tell me a little bit about how this works, because we are in an era where there are so many options for learning. There's more of a choice, and a lot of faith-based institutes are facing a bit of a crisis right now where the enrollment is plummeting. So tell me a little bit about, are you facing declining enrollment?
No, we're not. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I think that we know there's great need for these students that are come from disadvantaged backgrounds. In terms of our tuition, we do feel as though we want families invested in their child's education. So there's a very, very small amount, it's less than 5% of our budget, that we do have families contribute to their child's education. We're fortunate to know that there are individuals and charitable foundations that wish to invest in our mission and be a part of that transformational process. And student sponsorship is $8,900 a year. That's a full student sponsorship, and we do offer half sponsorship, 1/3 sponsorship, and 1/4 sponsorship. And the good news is there's different entry levels of being able to engage and being a part of a student's life. What we like to do is we actually serve as really good stewards to those donors that participate at that level, and students write handwritten letters to their sponsors. We are very based in the expression of gratitude, and we know that is important for donors to realize the impact of philanthropy and know that at the end of the day they're getting a handwritten letter from their student, so they know the impact that they're making. So we have letters that go on a regular basis. We have awards luncheons take place twice a year, and donors that are funding our students' education will participate in that. But in terms of tuition, it's, any development officer, myself and my team, we're all working hard to continue talking to donors about the value of the investment in life, because we know that's an investment in our future, Molly.
To make it possible.
It is, because, if we're not investing in our kids' education, what is our future going to look like? And particularly our most vulnerable students.
All right, let's talk a little bit about and let's both scoot over.
Sure.
We tend to slip away over here. Let's talk a little bit about, you have the gala this week, not this weekend, I keep getting ahead of myself. Yep. I'm ready for it to be, ready for it to feel like spring, not like winter, it is spring. Let's talk a little bit about your gala that you have April 7th and the Miguel Medal Ceremony. Let's knock those two things out, and then we have to move along.
Absolutely. So we host our annual gala. It is the 7th of April. It's being held at Pawtucket Armory. It is our 12th annual gala, and it is an event where we host about 275 people or more.
It's pretty decent size.
Yes, it is. It's a pretty decent size, and the Pawtucket Armory has been a great partner for us. And in fact, it's really kind of a nice event because we tag team with PBS, and they host their event on Saturday. We host ours on the Friday, and we leverage partners that actually help us to save some money with production and rental equipment. The event is held to raise money for student sponsorship, for student tuition, and it's a big fundraiser. It's a largest fundraiser, raising over $200,000 a year, and anyone is welcome to attend. Tickets can be purchased on our website, or they can call anyone at Miguel School. What we do at the event is we have a recognition for the Miguel Medal, and it is an institution or an individual that embodies our values, that is someone that goes above and beyond to really recognize the important work that we're doing every day. And we're lucky to have the longest tenured mentor, Bill Rogers, that will be recognized. He's been a mentor for 15 years. And we also recognize the LaSalle Academy. LaSalle is such a wonderful partner for us in terms of being able to afford our students to go to LaSalle, and we have a great partnership with them. Most of our students are going to LaSalle or St. Raphael School. This year, we're really happy to say that of our 16 students, we have about 4 going to classical. We have one that's going to Bishop Vian, one that is going to Portsmouth Abbey. He actually has a full scholarship at Portsmouth Abbey. So this is a really proud year for us, and kids really haven't been working hard. And this event really helps to raise money for students' support and their tuition. So it's always a great year, and I'm looking forward to in 2 weeks' time. Less than 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, well, under 2 weeks. Well, thank you so much, Vangy.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you coming on and filling this in.
You.
And if you are interested in the 12th annual gala, wow, 12 years already. 12th annual gala. It is Friday, April 7th. You can find out more information on the San Miguel website and the Miguel Medal Ceremony. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate